Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we'll be going from the 9th of September up until the 15th to see if there's anything releasing this week that's worth your time and money. So which games are coming out this week? Well, let's find out.
You might remember from a few weeks back when we spoke about Wild Agotchi on the Nintendo Switch, and this episode is actually sponsored by Red Deer and their new release, Wild Agotchi Virtual Pet. This is a wild animal care simulator that will very much remind you of the classic Tamagotchi toys, where you would have taken care of virtual pets. It's actually already out. It came out on August the 25th, and it's only a very small download size. It features multiple different wild animals that you can choose from, such as lions, pandas, elephants, penguins, and a few more. You have to feed them, clean them, and generally try and look after them. If you didn't have a Tamagotchi when you were a kid, what were you doing? But now is your chance to relive the glory. It includes Wild Class's real-time gameplay, where the pet will grow and change in appearance, depending on the types of actions you choose, but it can also become sad or sick if you neglect it for too long. It does currently have a sale, and if you're after something to just chill with, a very nice little loading game to pick up and play. Thanks to Red Deer for sponsoring this episode.
So kicking us off then, releasing on the 9th, we have Cursed Crackers For Whom the Bell Toils. This calls itself a retro-style acrobatic platforming adventure where you must help Belle rescue her boyfriend who has been kidnapped by her rival Bonnie. It says that there are a host of items to pocket and then use to your advantage, over 12 bosses to defeat as you go, a number of quests to take on, and that you can also unlock new colour palettes by beating some of the challenges. There's no trailer on the eShop unfortunately, just screenshots, but I must say by looking at those I do like the art style, or at least the use of colour, which goes for quite a pale, almost washed out look that works quite well, at least in screenshots. This one will cost you £13.49 or your regional equivalent. Next then we have 30XX. Now this has released in some regions already, but it's releasing certainly in Europe, probably in Australia too, on the 12th. This is the sequel to 20XX, and both games are heavily inspired by the Mega Man series, especially Mega Man X, which released on the Super Nintendo back in the day, with precision platforming being the order of the day. There is also some roguelike progression present in the game, but as far as I understand, I say that because Mark has actually already reviewed this one for us, you can choose whether to play in a roguelike fashion or in a more traditional way. There's also co-op included if you want to play with another person, and do check out that review for the full details of course. I'll put a card in the top right hand corner. This one releases, as I said, on the 12th, or is already out depending on where you're based, and it will cost £17.99. Following on from that, we have the Isle Tide Hotel. This comes from Wales Interactive and is what I still to this day call an FMV type game, although a live action game I guess is a better description. And here there are 7 main endings available with 14 different outcomes. The story, according to the blurb, revolves around a father who must rescue his teenage daughter from an eclectic cult before their final night at the Isle Tide Hotel. You must investigate the strange events that unfold in this mystery game, and every decision, as you would expect, affects the story. This one releases on the 12th and it will cost £15.99 or your regional equivalent, but there is 10% available off of that price up until the 18th.
If there's any part of you that cares for your daughter, you'll come too.
Oh my.
Welcome to the Isle Tide Hotel.
Also this week we have Super Bomberman R2. This latest entry in the Bomberman series, and the second of the R games to hit the Switch, features a story mode, as did the original of course, offline battle modes for up to 8 players, online battle modes for up to 64 players, and a new castle mode. In this mode, players are divided into the attack side and the castle side and have to battle for treasure. There is a stage editor as well, and it says that you can share your stages online. The first Bomberman R was actually one of the games I bought with my Switch on launch, that and Breath of the Wild of course, and I've always been a big fan of the Bomberman series. I find it a lot of fun, especially in multiplayer, and I've had some great times with the series over the years on various consoles, particularly when I was at university. This new entry will sell for £44.99 or your regional equivalent, and this one comes out on the 13th.
Battle mode. Castle. Attack or defend your castle. The attack side blasts their way through the stage to find keys and...
Then we have Gunbrella. Now I remember this one was in a Nintendo Direct or an Indie Direct a while back and had a bit of hype around it, and it calls itself a gritty noir punk action adventure set in a world dependent on a rapidly diminishing natural resource. In terms of gameplay, that will equate to side-scrolling action as you make full use of your skills, mainly being manoeuvrability and close-quarter combat, to get across a number of stages. Your Gunbrella itself is a bulletproof umbrella that doubles up as a firearm, so that's pretty handy, and you'll be salvaging scrap and spare parts to trade for different munitions and upgrades to improve your arsenal as you go along. This comes via Devolver Digital, who have a very good track record on the Switch and can certainly spot a game when it comes to publishing duties, and this releases on the 13th and will cost £13.29 or your regional equivalent. It does also mention that if you pre-order the game, you will get another game called Gato Roboto for free, which is a very fun, quite short Metroidvania that I really enjoyed. There's also a demo available if you want to give this a try before you buy. And then a game I've been looking forward to ever since I finished the last one. This is Mortal Kombat 1, although I do need to make it clear that this is just the premium edition launching this week. The standard edition launches next week on the 19th. This new game, confusingly I guess, follows on from Mortal Kombat 11, but is a bit of a reset for the story, following on directly from the events of that 11th game, but I believe it uses the Aftermath DLC ending as canon in terms of where this game starts. It says here that you'll discover a reborn Mortal Kombat universe created by the fire god Liu Kang, and that this particular entry will bring in a new fighting system, new game modes and new fatalities. It'll be interesting to see how this runs on the Switch. Mortal Kombat 11 did run very well in terms of frames per second, but it did take a big hit in terms of graphical fidelity in order to achieve it. And it will also be interesting to see what the physical version looks like, as again, Mortal Kombat 11 had a huge download, almost to the point that it wasn't really worth buying the game physically. This premium edition then allows you to access all of the DLC as it releases at a later point, generally being the licensed characters that are added, and I believe one of those is in there on launch, and that's Jean-Claude Van Damme. But yeah, I will be waiting for the standard edition to release next week before I pick this one up. This bundle sells for £84.99 or your regional equivalent if you are looking to pick this up early. Then we have Mugen Souls Z, which comes via East Asia Soft, and will see you attempting to conquer the 12 Zodiac worlds in this sequel to the original Mugen Souls. It features free roaming battle maps, strategic turn-based combat, and a level cap of 9,999. As far as I can see, the original Mugen Souls released back in 2012, and this sequel actually came out a year later and has been released on the Switch already in that form, but this is a new updated and I think uncensored version of that sequel. Another game that releases on the 14th, and this will cost you £34.99 or your regional equivalent. Next we have AK-xolotl, which calls itself the cutest yet deadliest roguelite. It says it's the only top-down roguelite shooter that features AK-wielding axolotls, which is probably true to be fair, and you'll need to find axolotl eggs and raise new powerful axolotls by turning them into highly specialised little killing machines. You can improve your firepower by finding permanent stat improving recipes and turn your enemies into ingredients to help you become more powerful. Does sound fun to be fair, and I do like the art style. It has that simple yet nice and detailed pixel style to it, and this again releases on the 14th and will sell for £15.99. The penultimate game for the week is Dynablaster. Now this, I must say, I am very confused about. Now it doesn't take a lot to be fair, but it mentions here that the classic bomber is back, Dynablaster. Now Dynablaster is certainly a game that I've heard of, but as far as I was aware, Dynablaster was the European name for the early Bomberman games over here in Europe. Aside from the name change, everything else was Bomberman as you'd expect. So I never knew Dynablaster to be its own thing. It talks here as if this is a completely separate game that's returned after many years. So as I said, I am a little confused on that front. If you do know exactly what that's about, please do let me know in the comments section. Away from all that though, it is a bomber type game, very similar to Bomberman of course, and it mentions having local multiplayer for up to 4 players and online multiplayer again for 4 players. There's a new cooperative key collecting mode, 50 levels to get through, and 9 unique bonuses and power-ups as you play. Again, like I said, I'm just a bit confused as to the timing, because of course there's a Bomberman game coming out this week, and whether this was ever its own thing, or whether they've just acquired that name. It is spelt slightly differently, it doesn't have a space in between the 2 words, Dyna and Blaster, this is all one word, perhaps that's what it is. But it's out this week either way, on the 14th for £17.99. And finally for the week then, we have Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster. Now this is a series that I've heard of but never played, and by heard of I've never actually heard it said out loud, so I hope I've pronounced it correctly. But here you get Eternal Wings and Lost Ocean and Origins with improved graphics and new features to aid game progression according to the blurb. The original games released in 2003 and 2006 respectively, and this HD Remaster bundle will cost you £44.99 and it releases on the 15th. So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Do any of these games interest you? Will you be picking any of them up? Please do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, or anything else for that matter, you can get your eShop cards via our website, SwitchUp.gg. Doing so will earn you 5% back in cashback off of your purchase price, and you can then use that to save money on a future purchase. There's also a link down there to Play Asia if you're looking to import any games. The Mugen Souls games mentioned in this video are available on there. Use the link down below, use the code stated, and you can get yourself 5% off of your order. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.